Nowadays, it's customary to believe that Carrie Bradshaw, played by Sarah Jessica Parker, is a subpar actor. To be honest, she isn't the most well-known or even the most liked actress on Sex and the City for a variety of reasons, including her reputation as a lousy friend and her tone-deaf opinions on a number of delicate subjects, but one of her most distinguishing characteristics is that she never showed her knickers when she was passing judgment. It was anticipated that And Just Like That What If would maintain the crude comedy of its forerunner while also benefiting from being written from a more experienced, mature perspective. Persona, in particular considering her field of work, investigates the characters in current society and documents many of the program's historical wrongs, such as lack of representation. Although it undoubtedly has its moments, sex is now a much more open and uninhibited subject. The conservatism of Carrie also seems to have been addressed in some way. Bradshaw, although Carrie has a history of passing harsh judgment on others, her viewpoints were seen as more progressive in the first season of the show. She's done a 50-step backward turn since then, though, and that's insane. Carrie was never a prude, despite the fact that she definitely has flaws, therefore it is unclear why this has changed following Mr. Big's passing. She should probably be a little more restrained and reserved, though. She wrote about issues in her column that were highly graphic in the 1990s and the early 2000s, when sex was a much more taboo subject. Today, however, she is unwilling to use the phrase vagina in a podcast called Sex in the City. Discussions on sex and sexuality in general happen much more regularly. She avoids some topics in casual conversation, but those who listen to her podcast S1 can hear unvarnished true discourse from someone of her caliber and reputation today. Carrie was way too conservative and shame why for someone with a sex column, despite the fact that the show likely set new norms when it debuted in 1998. She never ran out of things to write about because there are so many single women in New York, but occasionally she was dismissive of her pals, particularly Samantha. Samantha's attitude was the most annoying and out of control, and she was also pretty sexually explicit. Since it was an episode-long narrative, Carrie taunted and criticized her, stating that she would never behave in such a way after 5 seasons. Despite the fact that she blamed the city for the sex and sex, Carrie constantly scolded Samantha for her actions, such as when she arrived and overheard Samantha ranting at the mailman. What does it matter if Samantha was having an intimate connection with her mailman? Samantha asked in response, expressing precisely what everyone else was thinking. Was it really as significant as Carrie had suggested? Before walking away, he gave Carrie one final shot and said, "I cannot believe that you judge me after everything we have been through. As long as I can breathe, kneel, wear whatever I want, and blow whomever I want, I won't let your society criticize me." This chat sounded particularly disconcerting given Carrie's history with Mr. Big and the fact that she had only recently begun dating Aiden. Samantha was undoubtedly surprised when Carrie told her what had happened, but she didn't judge or blame Carrie, which was a lot greater transgression than some lunchtime flirtation with a beautiful mailman. The distinction was that Charlotte, unlike Carrie with her column, never pretended to be open-minded and experimental. Instead, she simply had different values than her friends. Although she wasn't always kind or right, at least she wasn't hiding her true feelings like Carrie frequently did. Even Charlotte, who has long been seen as the designated prude, seems to make more progress than Carrie does in light of her new role in the season. Carrie Bradshaw's reluctance to be nude was explained by Sarah Jessica Parker as a result of the program's emphasis on sex and nudity. However, in a recent interview with Howard Stern, Sarah Jessica Parker talked about this decision as well as how her character uses coarse language. Although it's not always a terrible thing in and of itself, performers should always feel like they're on set, especially during such intimate scenes. Carrie was the only major character who had never been naked. When Parker recalled her interview with show creator Darren Star, she said, "My only concern, which I confided in him, was that I didn't feel comfortable performing in nudity, and if it wasn't in the pilot it would probably be a part of a series." Parker said she believed the script was really captivating and very exciting and different and fresh, and I'd never seen anything like that. Parker asserts that Starr simply said, "Don't do it," adding that other performers won't be obliged to follow suit. Parker countered that just because they were on HBO, Carrie did not automatically have to respond to Stern's question about why she was using the language Carrie did in such a loose and liberal manner. Carrie Bradshaw is a writer and is extremely purposeful about what she says, how she says it, where she says it, and to whom she is saying it, so if we want to use language, let's be very careful when she does. Carrie's worst outbursts may have been influenced by the fact that, as Parker noted, her use of more forceful language at the time had a greater effect. Parker shouldn't be held responsible for the character's shortcomings, however it seems like these restrictions have been slightly changed. Carrie, while Miranda discovers a new facet of her sexuality and orientation in Charlotte while being educated by her children, we're getting to see a new side to every character except for Carrie, who is still a cherished character we want to see some development in. Because they appear to have emphasized the propriety of behaving in the remake, the authors and creators are still principally to fault for the portrayal. Carrie, however, appears to be stuck in time, which is a sad tragedy because how can there possibly be the city sex if our primary heroine is so afraid to disclose sexuality and intimacy in a raw and unfiltered environment? Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos if you find the video entertaining. In any event, the show needs to shed the stodgy persona Carrie has maintained throughout the years. Kim Cattrall's appearance as Samantha might aid in some education for her.